some days I'm just sitting out there forgetting that I even have glasses because I had taken them off. And then I'm just like looking around and I could see better than I had before. I used to not be able to
Wow.
see right in front of me, and now I can at least expand out maybe about a foot or two right now. I noticed it was something different because it just cleaned out whatever was going on in the system and my body at that time. And I said, I was actually looking forward to it for whatever reason. I was like, yes, it finally hit a point where something's clearing out.
Hey, Doreen, thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today.
Hi, Tracy. Nice to see you again.
You too. So can we start chatting a little bit about like where you were prior to, like with your health history prior to coming to QHS?
Yeah, I pretty much had a health history most of my life, but the first one was pulmonary stenosis, but that got resolved in childhood. And then along the way, it was just I had pre-diabetes, and then I started out getting full-blown cases, but not to the point where I would have to rely on other medication for any of the complications. Complications in the sense of more of controlling my blood sugar,
Oh, nice.
part of it. And then it was doing A1C checks, going through different places that they had a different approach on nutrition, which wasn't the same. It was more like I would say a complex, not the calorie count, but the carb count
Oh, macros.
and all of that. And it was just a little too strange because before I got the diagnosis, I was going to all these fundraisers for American Heart Association and American Diabetes Association. And there was a problem with most of those individuals that were doing the walks were having the Diet Coke and the traditional stuff. And I had always wondered where that was coming from. And it was the way they were setting things up by the dietitian at the places that I would go to. And I said, this doesn't sound right. So I decided to go think a little bit more outside the box of what other ways I can get through this. And it turned out, of course, I had to get back into healthy eating habits. However, there was a snafu where I found out that the whole grains were not good for me because I had gluten intolerance, and that was keeping my numbers still at a little bit of an even pace. I was from 400 and I went down to 200, but it still didn't go down enough until I just got weaned off of the whole grains and increased my multivitamins and minerals to an optimal level. So and after that, I went to see this one doctor that did things differently. And I was surprised one time to hear that there was a healing frequency that they called infrared sauna. She used that on top of the nutrition plan, the foot massage, the reflexology, they would call it, and kinetic therapy, because there was a situation where I always had problems with ingrown toenails and everything. So I would go for surgical procedures. One doctor went a little bit out of line and poured some chemicals that destroyed the nail bed of my foot, and then I got deformities.
No way.
Yeah, and it was like very hard to heal until I could get the numbers all the way down. So that added fuel to the fire, bringing the numbers up a bit. So I was able to get more. I had my white blood cell count was just completely gone because this other doctor was doing more tests to see the possibility of what else could be a problem. And she managed to get herself off of all 7 of her medications when she had her troubles. So she was able to have group classes for all of us, and we were able to at least get to a minimal level, but we couldn't get to. Part of my toe did heal, but it just was never able to do anything the right way. And then another thing is also with the eyes. I had nearsightedness since 5th grade, but there was also cataracts that developed earlier in the eyes. and I was holding off, and then we had our lockdowns and I didn't go through that. And then I found Quantum Healing Systems. I was just receiving emails. I went to other places that were talking about med beds. So with this device, what was very interesting is building up the frequencies is that I've seen things heal up even faster than even the average norm. I know my numbers are down, with the blood sugars, but for instance, I would be cutting up vegetables and suddenly I saw an accidental cut. Sometimes I do that on my finger. And I took the little pocket healing device and put it up right near the finger, and it just healed in a couple days instead of waiting for like a week or two.
Oh, nice.
And then one other thing that I wanted to mention is I started back with the Q belt, but I think I went overboard on being over on size, so I couldn't keep it hooked on. It was just too big on me to hold it on, but it was a nice utility to start out. And then I had the smaller device, and it was working pretty good in the beginning until it decided the battery was just not suited enough to handle all the downloads, I guess. But then with this bigger device, it's been like amazing.
Oh, good.
I started to see things like I would, anytime I felt like a twinge of something or a little bit of pain, I would stick it in that area, like my last menstrual cycle. It was different than the average norm. Usually mine are pretty mild in pain, but this one was a little different. So I just put the device right on my abdomen. And then I would put it on the foot because it was in the area of the foot that would tie to the abdomen.
Oh, you know all that?
Well, I just
Okay.
learned it because of that, doing that reflexology, though I had a foot massage therapist at that time when I was healing because of the toe.
Oh, okay.
They were helping me to stand up more. But this one seems to put more energy in the body, is what I noticed. And then at times I've been able to not have to wear glasses, but I still wear them for driving.
Oh, really? So it's helped your vision?
Yeah. So some days I'm just sitting out there forgetting that I even have glasses because I had taken them off. And then I'm just like looking around and I could see better than I had before. I used to not be able to
Wow.
see right in front of me. And now I can at least expand out maybe about a foot or two right now.
Oh, that's cool. I love hearing that.
Yeah. I
Nice.
I figured that one would take me a little bit longer because there must have been some other things that had to get done in the body that I was scanning for that needed adjustment.
Oh, I wear contacts and I have readers, so I definitely look forward to that. And you mentioned menstrual cycles. That is the one thing I've had nothing for over 10 years, and I do not want it to come back.
Right.
So I'm like, oh no, I don't really want to be 30 again and have to worry about that stuff again. But
Yeah.
I guess you got to take what you can,
Yeah.
The good way out far outweighs the bad.
Yeah. But I noticed it was something different because it just cleaned out whatever was going on in the system and my body at that time. And I said, I was actually looking forward to it for whatever reason. I was like, yes, it finally hit a point where something's clearing out and helping.
Oh, so you felt the difference.
Yes.
Wow, that's cool. Anything else?
Mm.
Like energy, sleep?
Oh, the sleep has improved because I used to be have trouble getting back to sleep at night because I would have that list ready to go for the next day of what things to do. And then now I'm finding it's like a deeper sleep and it's more vivid. Like I'm starting to see dreams now more than I did before. But it's like very pleasant dreams.
Oh, good.
Instead of somebody chasing me through the woods or whatever.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've noticed that too, because I never used to dream before. And now I'm definitely noticing that. I
Mhm.
want to start writing them down because I'm hearing that there's reasons that we have those dreams. And
Mhm.
I'm not really good about all that, but it seems like a fun like Sherlock Holmes investigative dig, you know?
Yeah.
So then how about Doreen moving forward with your do-over? So taking all the knowledge and wisdom that you've accumulated these last few decades and applying it to the future with a 30-year-old body.
hmm
What excites you about that? What are you going to do?
What excites me about it is, even though prior to the quantum healing device, I did it because of the supplements and the better nutrition. I had better, energy, movement to be able to walk down the street uh, at a nice pace compared to somebody similar in age that was still going through their um, stuff in life. I think that I would really like to be able to move forward in such a way where I feel the freedom of not having these on all the time,
Mm.
and see it in such a way that I just see the world and like, oh, wow, like when you're getting your corrective lenses for the first time and you could see better, that perspective, but without having to worry about misplacing them or going through any other situation with it. I just like to be able to be free from that part. And
Uh,
also in the feet movement, because my feet are longer than the average norm.
how long are they?
It is, I have about a size 12 on the foot. I
Oh,
had to
how
get,
tall are you?
I'm not that tall. I'm just only about 5'4".
Oh, okay. So that is a little out of proportion for that. So you're wanting them smaller?
Yeah, I'm like a petite in size, but the feet just look like, I'm just like, I would hope that it would be more adjusted, because they over time sort of curled over a little bit. So it's harder to sometimes do the nail clips and everything because they're so long. And
Oh, there's something called yoga toes. Have you seen those?
oh, I haven't seen those. No.
Look it up. They're yoga toes, and you put them in between your toes,
Okay.
like that. And maybe that will help you, like when you're just relaxing, during the day or whenever you're just chilling, you can put those and maybe that will help you.
hmm
I use them occasionally too. So see if that might help. I don't know. So you want to have your feet smaller and your eyes stronger. And what else? Like if you were to look out into the future a year from now and you knew that you already arrived and you were living your best life,
hmm
what do you feel like you're doing differently?
What I would be doing differently is not going back to the habits that I have already known. Some are very obvious, but some are not. Like I know that the whole grains are not the thing, but also to be able to, from what I know now, I wouldn't want to go back to the way things were, because it would just feel like I'm reaching obstacles. I'd rather be, if there's going to be obstacles in the future, which there shouldn't be, then I want to be able to glide through them smooth
Mm,
by
with
not having
grace.
all of with grace, without having all these other extras to worry about.
Yeah. How does that excite you?
Yes, it definitely does. And I decided to take up the health coaching for the reason that people go through similar problems. And sometimes I noticed that when I was being coached by a health coach in a group, it helped to have other similar individuals going through the same thing. And I think that's why the doctor that I originally went to went through similar situations, so she would understand how it is, because there's still another side that still won't understand yet.
Cool. So you want to be a health coach as like a career in the future? Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, I did receive training for the functional medicine one, and then I went to get training on the products. I have an upline in a group called Longevity, and I think I heard Cohen say he uses the tangy tangerine too. But I also would like to see, I like the idea of this technology. Well, I don't call it technology, it's frequency. I like that idea too. because I see so much improvement with that on top of what we have now.
Right. I look at it as the very foundation of our being. Like if we're all made of atoms and an atom is 99.9% empty space with a few
Right.
particles thrown in there, then that to me is frequency, it's energy, right? Which is synonymous. And so we're basically 100% frequency, almost. And
Mhm.
so why wouldn't we look at that as the root cause of everything?
Right.
You improve your frequency, you improve everything.
Right.
So it's just perplexing why that hasn't been addressed in the past. Um,
True.
they look at biology and chemistry, but not physics. It just doesn't make sense to me. But
Right.
thank goodness we get to be the trailblazers and
Yeah.
educate people and inspire them. And
Mhm.
I feel like the hope for the future is so much greater.
I would agree with there. If you even saw anything, I saw the video about the replicator and how it was designed, and that was just phenomenal.
Oh, send it to me. I haven't seen it, but I would be curious.
Yeah, because I saw somebody put it in the quantum chat, and then I went to view it, and I thought, oh, this is like very interesting. You get the materials out of everything out of the replicator, and then it hasn't really been talked about yet, but there's something else like with the vehicles.
Oh, yeah.
Because of all the road construction we have, it'd be nice to take off a little bit and above it. And
Oh, yeah. I like the idea of ripping up all the asphalt so that we can let the earth breathe,
yeah, yeah.
and because asphalt is not conductive. So it would
Mhm,
be so beautiful just to get rid of all of it and,
mhm.
be able to not have to sit in rush hour traffic.
Right.
Because you could have multiple layers of, roads in the air. Does that sound fun?
And I wish this area had a little more place to do more grounding where you could actually walk open-toed, either in sandals or bare feet without having to worry about anything
Oh, you
in
can
the
get
area.
moccasins. Moccasins are grounding.
Okay.
Anything with a leather sole, the frequency goes through the sole. I just got a pair of moccasins.
Okay. And they would work well with I mean, it wouldn't interfere with the pocket Healy.
You know what? I think it's two separate things.
Okay.
I know that the grounding is electrons. It's negative electrons coming in.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it's two different things. Dr. A doesn't really understand the whole grounding concept, but my friend Ron is going to meet with him and he understands it quite well. So they'll have a conversation about it. So we'll see. But I mean, come on, walking barefoot is a natural thing. I really
Right.
don't think it's going to interfere with this.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's going to be good.
It's just the area I'm more in the city, so it's not always practical to walk around the area without at least sandals when it's warm weather. But right now, I feel self-conscious about my feet with the toes and everything. I want to open it up, but it's hard to sometimes uh
Yeah.
want people to see that.
Yeah. Well, nobody's perfect and we all have our own, you know, things that bother us. I was just taking pictures because I'm doing a little journal of my before the
Mhm.
do-over. Cynthia asked us to do that. And I was taking pictures of different things of my body and my face and, but most people would say, oh, you look fine, but I know what areas of me bother me, So to me, though, there's just no judgment. Like, who cares? I mean, for us, we're not broken, right?
Right.
So I always tell my clients to take your hammer out of your hand and stop yourself, We just need to love ourselves. That's it, right?
Yeah.
So, well, Doreen, is there any parting words that you'd like to say in closing?
Parting words is I really have been enjoying this journey so far, and the volunteering that I've been able to put on it, and I hope to put forth more in the future.
Oh, well, we appreciate you for volunteering.
Mhm.
That is just so helpful. Especially lately, I know it's been crazy for you guys.
Mhm.
So thank you. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story with the world today. It's going to inspire so many.
Yeah, and thank you for inviting me.